Hello there, this is Patricia from Pinky's World. I have been working on a big project for an advent calendar. I'm not going to show you how I made the outside. I'm going to show you just a quick tip if you happen to be going to do advent calendars at all for the kids, the grandkids or whatever. I've come up with a nice punched idea for the pockets. The book itself, it's easy enough. I'll put the measurements on my blog if anyone's interested. It's a lot of work. It really is. I wouldn't like to be doing more than one, but I certainly enjoyed having a go at it. I have used a Murray card for the outside, which is a nuisance. It picks up all the wee bits of glue, so I'm going to have to go and spend a lot of time cleaning this up. I've also added glimmer dust around my snowflake, so I'm going to have to go back in and clean all around it. I did stamp a few wee images here from Snowman Season to decorate it. I'm sorry for the glare. That is the worst about using Mary card. But it does decorate it up lightly, and it is going to stand up like so, and it will tie with the bow, and inside you can see all the wee pockets. I went right up to 25 and made the centre one gold. I used an old stamp set for the wee Santas. I wanted to add Santa in somewhere, and I don't really have a Santa stamp, would you believe, from Stampin' Up. So I had to dig into my older stamps. I have used this lovely punch. I've seen lots of girls making this, and they made wee individual boxes, and I said, oh my God, I just couldn't last that long. I really couldn't. This was quick. You do have to punch 50 of them, but 50 using that is just punch, you know. I did 50 in the red, or 25 in the red and 24 in the red, 25 in the white and 1 in the gold. And I just added a wee lines on my board to add a wee bit of detail. I also used an older punch. What size was that? This is the 1 inch. The white is the 1 inch punch, and the next one's 1/3. So that's what I did for each of them. So you have 25 of those each to punch. And I just used scraps of the brightly gleaming. I just had strips left. That's all I have left in that whole packet. I've used so much of it. So I just used those for the belly bands, and this one, they're all out of the one pack. So real red card, gold, and whisper white. So I'll just show you quickly how to make that one wee pocket in case you decide you'd like to make the pockets yourself and go about it a different way. You could just do one big board and put all your pockets onto it. The wee chaplets were out of Lidl. You get a pack of, I think there's 20 in that pack for $1.49 or something. There's no strings on them, so I just glued a wee bit of the linen thread to the back. You're going to need a punched out real red, a punched out whisper white, and your strip, if I can remember correctly, it measures 3.5 inches by 7/8. No, does that sound right? Yeah, that's right. By 7/8. I'm just going to check that for you. This is one of these projects. I wrote the measurements down as I was going along. It wasn't planned. Yes, 7/8 is right. So you score it at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2.5, and 3 inches. So you have that to go round your wee belly band like so. I didn't even bother making the strip fit right across the back because that's going to be glued to the back of the the board. So you're going to need your scoreboard. Oh my goodness, my room is in such a mess. This really was. You can tell when you're doing a big project that you run out of space and you're just throwing stuff everywhere. So get your punched out pieces and just line them nice and straight along your board and score it where that line and that line meet. So you're just scoring at the very bottom, which is about roughly 2 inches. So just give it a good score there. Same with the red one. Score, and that's all the wee scores you're going to need for that. So what you do now is turn one up. I'm going to add a wee section of glue just to the circle part, just wet glue. You could use a sticky dot or whatever you normally use. We're just joining these two bottoms. So I'll actually go the other way. I'll give that a wee turn. Just like to keep my scores to the other side. So I'm lining these up using those wee points there and there. to keep them nice and straight. So you've got that wee base for your chocolate. Just make sure both are nice and rounded and let that dry. And you have your punched out circle. Where did my number go? Holy moly. It was there a minute ago, so what did I do with it? Stuck to my board. Oh, there it is. So I've stamped the numbers. Now I had intended to use the family party, which is great, gives you all your numbers, but unfortunately I can't even find it now. It's under this mass of stuff, and there's it there. The numbers are really big, so I decided against it. They were single numbers fine, but once you went into double numbers, you were lost. There was no space, so you'd really need to be doing bigger circles. So I had this old stamp set, not old, I actually got it a few weeks ago for my scrapbooking, and it's from Simply Made Crafts, and it's a Helen Griffin set, and I used these wee numbers, which were much better and worked out perfect for me. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to stick, you can see where I've attempted to use the larger numbers. There's no way I was going to get 22 even in there, never mind any other number. So as I said, this was a project I did, worked out as I was going. I just took a notion, it says, right, I'm going to have a wee go. So you stick that on, have a dimension on the back ready for that. Do your chocolate, whatever. I run out of chocolate. There's, as it says, only 20 in it. So I did have a couple of gold coins. Some of them are really too big, others are not so bad, and some of them are just too tiny. So I will go back and get more of these whenever I get out again. But in the meantime, I filled it with those. You could also put coins in there, or, use your imagination. Whatever child you're making it for, go with what they like. So this is ready now. You want to add your band, and that's what holds it in place. So I'm just going to use the tape runner, and I'm just putting it on that center bit, not on these two, and on the very end score. So you're leaving one wee bit blank because it's at the side and you don't want it to be sticky. So put, oops, wrong way, Patricia. A wee strip down there, a wee strip down there, and like, you'll be amazed at how quick you will get through these. Stick your centerpiece on first, deciding how far down you want to go. And I nearly forgot the other wee process, which I'll do now. Get yourself a gel pen or a white chalk pen, whatever you use, and just do wee stitching lines around to lift just to lift it. Go with your score line, which is across there, so keep above it, don't go below it. So it just gives it a nice wee lift. But I mean, you could go ahead and decorate this if you're really mad keen. You could go and stamp out those wee Santas, the wee snow, and put a different image on each one. But seriously, once I started this, I realised this is a big project, and I just hadn't time to devote myself. If I had nothing else to do, then it would be great to pass the wet days, but I just haven't, unfortunately. So that gives you that nice wee finish, really brightens it up. So you want to turn around now, and you're keeping that, if you put that so that it's sitting nice like so, and then wrap to that score and catch it. And just double check that you're happy with the way it's sitting. You don't want it going out of line at this stage. So again, press it to the bench if you want to make sure it's straight. And it doesn't even look straight sometimes, but double check it and make sure you're using a removable one that you can go in and change again. That should go in there. I should have stuck my number on first, but it should go on alright because of everything prepared. But that is the simplest way that I've found, instead of having to make boxes and openings, and that way it just happened the other day. I'm going to use that. That is still available, the Everyday Label Punch, so I'd recommend you go and get it if you're planning this project, because really the thought of making 25 mini boxes and attaching them all, it nearly drove me berserk. I just wasn't going to do it. It's as simple as that. So this will now fit into your you can see the wee coins do not like to stay. The big ones, yes, they push right in, but the wee ones just, where did he come from? In here, number 12. So I will definitely replace them with the snowman and keep them all the same. So now you want to go in with your wet glue and just put that all on the back. Give it a good bit of glue. So it's going to hold. And I've left space between each one, and I'll give you all the markings for that, the score lines, by actually just scoring in between each panel. It lines you up and you just follow the line to pop each wee pocket onto. So the bottom ones, I'm bringing them right down just to add a bit of the stability to the bottom. You know, this will be a stamping. It's not going to sit. It's going to stand up all the time. So I thought that was the best way to do that. So just push that down. If you want to go in with your bone folder, you know, you can, to make sure everything is taken. And then you're left with that. And I mean, I think it's pretty clear. That child will love that. It'll be exciting to open up each one, and it could just easily just sit up on the fireplace or on the bench and just leave it open rather than closing it. But I did put ties on it just in case anybody did want to close it. But as I say, the front's a bit messy. You might, if you have more DSP than me, put your DSP on the front and save yourself any hassle and just put Merry Christmas and maybe the child's name using the alphabet letters. So that's me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gives you an idea for your own. I even have gold on the back and lined it down to give it a bit of detail and again a bit of stability. So that's me, and I'll put all the measurements on my blog if you fancy making the book itself. But otherwise, use that wee tip. Go with that if you're making pockets this year. Much quicker, much less mess, and you just use scraps of DSP. So great way of using up your old Christmas papers. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later. Bye.